Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your man, Uncle Freezie. You are watching Old School Knicks. Welcome. And y'all know what Old School Knicks is. Old School Knicks is the joint where we chop it up about things that have happened in the past and how they relate to today's game. And I'm joined by the star of the show, the creator, Anthony D. So smooth, he does not require a chaser. AD, what's good?
Good morning, Uncle Freezie. Good morning, Nick Nation. Good morning, Sports Nation in general. You know, I normally kick it off with a brrr, but we're not gonna do that this morning. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the realest morning show to kick your week off. As Uncle Freezie said, it's Old School Knicks, so we're gonna be on a journey this morning. So, Uncle Freezie,
yes,
where we at?
What we are gonna do is peel back the layers of the Julius Randle conundrum, right? And this Julius Randle thing is old school to its heart.
I may have to get my dictionary, you know, my Scrabble word advice for that big word you don't do so early in the morning, conundrum.
Because what we have, Cully, what's good? Chuck Allen, what's good? Karen Fung is in the building, what's good? Yeah. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna peel back the layers of the Julius Randle conundrum because it's not only old school, but it's important, right? So, AD, I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks, man, and the reason why I wanted to do the Julius Randle conundrum here is because the way it played out is like how things played out. Knicks front offices of the 80s, Knicks front offices of the 90s, Knicks front offices of the 2000s.
Let me sip my drink and think while you bringing up some really horrible stuff this morning. God.
Let me go. Let me rock. I'm just gonna rock for like 3 minutes, and then we're gonna tear this thing up, bro. Because as soon as you hear me get into some of these points, I know you're gonna be ready to rip somebody's head off, right? So here's how we start. Here's how we start with the Julius Randle thing. The superstar coach and front office failed and got fired. Does that sound familiar?
Very.
So the superstar front office person, in this case, Phil Jackson, gets fired. Right? He gets fired. The front office is looking for a direction. Well, hey, all of a sudden, somebody very smart and very charismatic takes over the team front office. And what he says is, I'm not going to do what the last guy did. What we're going to do is establish respectability in this organization, and we're going to look to build towards championships. Right? Now, listen, I know this is deja vu. I know you heard this before, Knicks fans, but I'm just telling you what the guy said. And he says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a head coach, a head basketball coach that shares our vision. Let me know if you heard that before.
Woo.
Right?
Lord.
So in the 2018 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Kevin Knox, forward out of the University of Kentucky.
Boom.
Let's go. We finally get our 6'9" athletic scorer on the wing. We finally get our guy. We finally draft for a need. We finally draft a small forward. We needed one forever. And then in the second round of the 2018 NBA draft, the Knicks are thinking, hey, if we get us a dynamic point guard right here or address the center position, we might be on to something. And in the second round of the 2018 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Mitchell Robinson from Eastern Kentucky University, Louisiana, and high school, La Chemette High School, whatever.
Incomplete bum.
And so as a Knicks fan in that moment, we're like, wait a minute. They just drafted an athlete at center. We're used to having Cole Aldridge, Jason Smith, Kevin Seraphin, Nazi Muhammad. We begged Nazi Muhammad not to retire and come play for Jamal McGraw. That's what we like to have at center. Right? So what happens in this 2018 season, we have a young head coach who could sell, ice to an Eskimo, but couldn't coach his way out of a men's bathroom. Right? The year goes by, we have the worst record in the league. No worries.
On purpose.
Right. No worries, because the basketball gods are gonna bless us with this 6'7", 285 power forward out of Duke University. The dude is so explosive that his shoe ripped on his foot as he took off the dunk. Right? We were so enamored, and stay with me, AD. Stay with me on this, because this theme is familiar. We were so enamored with this athletic power forward that could do highlight reel dunks in a game that we felt like we couldn't live without him. Stay with me, because this is a theme. Athletic real power forwards in college that you can't live without. Stay with me, because this thing may happen again, right? The lottery comes. The Knicks don't get the number 1 pick. The lottery comes. The Knicks don't get the number 2 pick. The lottery comes. The number 3 pick is up for grabs, and it's between the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks. And the Knicks get blessed to get the number 3 pick. Right? But behind the scenes, the Steve Mills, Scott Perry front office have a plan. And their plan is this: sign Kyrie Irving, sign Kevin Durant, draft that guy, whoever it is, and get that young and upcoming guy, Julius Randle, from the New Orleans Pelicans. So you'd have a big 3 plus an exciting young rookie. Your big 3 is going to be Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Julius Randle, an exciting rookie to go with the rookie that you drafted last year, and Kevin Knox, right? And then compete right away for an NBA title with David Fizdale as your coach. This is the plan. This is the plan. The plan is to sign Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Julius Randle. Well, I'm sorry, the original plan was to sign Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Julius Randle, and draft Zion Williamson. So you would have 5 players. You would have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Julius Randle, Zion Williamson, Kevin Knox, and Mitchell Robinson as a core to go forward with. That's the plan. All right. Free agency starts off rip. Kyrie Irving was like, screw the Knicks. I never liked them. I'm going to Brooklyn.
Which wasn't true. Which wasn't true.
Hey man. I'm laying it out there so we can chop it up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I always felt like Kyrie Irving wanted to play for the Knicks, right? But whatever, we're gonna get there. Soon as free agency starts, Kyrie Irving signs with Brooklyn off rip, right? And we're like, oh. Then the Knicks signed Julius Randle, right? And they are in the hunt for D'Angelo Russell from the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh God!
That comes out. That leaks. The Knicks are in the hunt for D'Angelo Russell. That's the plan B. D'Angelo Russell. So now you have D'Angelo Russell, Kevin Durant, Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett, who's been drafted already. Right? Right?
Don't forget. I was going to be a part of the coaching staff as the assistant coach. So it was a package deal.
My bad. I forgot about the package deal. I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden, Kevin Durant doesn't sign with anybody yet. So we're like, wait a minute. James Dolan went on the radio and said this was guaranteed. James Dolan was on a radio interview and said his people told him that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant were guaranteed to be Knicks. And then Stephen A. Smith comes on ESPN and says, hey, this Kevin Durant to the Knicks is guaranteed. He's 95% sure.
Let me pick up a little bit until Freezie gets back, because my man has been under the weather. Stephen A. Smith says that the Knicks were 90% or 95% to get Kevin Durant, and
he bet his house.
Boy, bam.
He bet his house. Remember that?
Yes.
He bet his house that Kevin Durant was going to be a Knick. But then 3 days later, somebody leaks that Kevin Durant felt disrespected, that the Knicks wanted to see his medical records. And then the next day, it's also leaked that James Dolan was very upset that he had to pay Amari Stoudemire, and his front office did not mandate that Amari Stoudemire show his medical records. So James Dolan was on the hook for $100 million and only got $25 million worth. Now, to y'all, to everyday people, $75 million doesn't sound like a lot of money, but that's a lot of money. And James Dolan said he did not want to go through that. This is the rumor. So that leaks in the morning on all the ESPN shows. That afternoon, Kevin Durant signs with the Brooklyn Nets. Now you have, not only did you not get Zion, did you not get Kemba, did you not get Kyrie, did you not get Kevin Durant, you didn't get anybody. You didn't get any of the big fish that you wanted. You did get Julius Randle, though. Julius Randle was always in the plans. Julius Randle was always in the plans. Julius Randle was planned to be the third or fourth option behind those guys. Right? Then all of a sudden, it comes out, the Knicks start to say, Steve Mills says, hey, we were always intent on building young. We want to build a young core. And all of a sudden, they signed Wayne Ellington, who is not young and is not a young piece. And then they signed a guy named Reggie Bullock, who is not young. And then they signed Elfrid Payton at point guard. And then signed Bobby Portis. And then signed Todd Gibson. And so you're like, these signings, wait a minute, you said you wanted to sign young core guys. James Dolan said Kevin Durant and Kyrie were guaranteed. Stephen A. Smith bet his house. So now, and then we watch as the days go by. Oh, I'm sorry, not as the days go by, but we watch D'Angelo Russell get traded to the Golden State Warriors. So now you're like, oh, they traded him so they could make room for Kevin Durant. So not only did we not get Kevin Durant, we did not get D'Angelo Russell. Right? And so here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. So now not only did you not go out and get guys to help your promising young rookies, Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Durant, Alonzo Trier, RJ Barrett, you signed 4 or 5 guys that played at the same position that they do. So now Alonzo Trier is not going to get minutes because you have Reggie Bullock and Wayne Ellington in his spot. And you didn't bring back Emmanuel Mudiay. You brought back Elfrid Payton. Right? And then so as time goes, and also just the icing on the cake, just to make sure that Kevin Knox and Julius Randle wouldn't get the playing time and things that they deserve, RJ Barrett, you also brought in Marcus Morris at the last minute and made him a starter. So a smart person told me when this was happening, AD, they said when y'all traded Porzingis, y'all should have traded all those assets that came along with Porzingis also, so that you could clear the way for the young point guard. What's the young point guard name that you got in the Porzingis trade?
Oh God, his name is skipping me right now, but
Dennis Smith Jr. Dennis Smith Jr.
Yes.
Dennis Smith. So you got a young, promising point guard and Dennis Smith Jr. Now, did he pan out here? No. Was it all his fault? In my belief, no. I believe the Knicks ruined Dennis Smith Jr., Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina. I think the Knicks ruined all of them by not having a developmental staff in place.
All right, tag me in like Rocky Johnson, Tony Atlas right now, because I'm about to rip up my shirt like freaking Hulk Hogan right now. Okay?
Let's go.
Tag me in.
Come on.
Because hold on, let me. You know what? I come on these shows on Sundays, and I be trying to be on my Pretty Tony shit. You know me. You know Pretty Tony from the Mac. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's my name. That's my namesake right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Freezie does these things to like get my muscles and my stuff percolating and okay. The plan was a horrible plan. Step by step, as you laid out. Step by step, a horrible plan. Right. From Phil Jackson to
being fired.
From being fired to you hiring Mills or promoting him yet again for the third time in MSG history that Phil Jackson that Steve Mills had a prominent position in this organization, right? Then he goes out and hires that pencil pusher Perry. Right? He brings in Perry in here because Perry so-called was a part of the Detroit Pistons championship team year, and he has an extensive background in basketball, let alone
AD. He drafted Kevin Durant. That's the reason. That's one of the main reasons him and Fizdale were here.
Yeah. I could have drafted Kevin Durant.
I know this.
You could draft Kevin Durant. You don't get You don't get checks off on your resume because you drafted the obvious, because you drafted LeBron, you drafted Kobe. You know what I'm saying? You don't get what? What? Oh.
AD, I'm with you. I'm with you.
You should have never went here this morning.
AD, but I had to go here because Knicks fans are blaming Randle for the direction of the team.
It's not that we're blaming Randle. It's not that we're blaming Randle. But here, as I told you last week, who much is given? Go ahead. Much is required.
Right.
He got $110 million off of playing in empty stadiums, right? Then he feels the need to give us his little sissy boy thumbs down. Thumbs down.
But the conundrum, though, this is what I'm saying. As an emotional Knicks fan, you are missing the entire boat. You're missing the entire thing. Julius Randle was told in the beginning, "Hey, man, we getting KD and Kyrie, and we might even get Zion." Right?
Julius Randle wasn't even going to be in that picture.
Yes, he was. Okay?
That's the part that you're missing, and we're going to differ on this. We're going to differ on this because you know why? Here's why. The Knicks only had a certain amount of money to spend. They gave Julius Randle $20 million. He had a 3-year contract. That first contract was 3 years. The first 2 years was guaranteed on an average of $20 million.
No, it wasn't. It was 17 and a half, you know what? And 18 and a half.
No, we're not even going to argue this.
All right, I'm pulling up on spot.
Let's use your numbers, okay? Let's use your numbers. How the hell you was going to give him 17 or 18 million and turn around and give KD 30 and turn around and give Kyrie 25 to 30? He was the fallback plan. Hold on. I let you percolate my blood enough. How was you gonna give those two superstars that kind of money, then draft Zion if you was gonna draft Zion? Right. You know, who I wanted John Morant, just for the record's sake, okay? Just for the record's sake, I wanted Ja. Okay, then turn around and sign Julius, who fans have heard me on this platform and other platforms and other platforms and other platforms talk about. I remember when I first saw Julius with the Lakers, and I thought he was something. I thought he was a more polished Oakley that we could do something with, right? As a part of the plan, not as the centerpiece, right? But as time went on, as he went to New Orleans and he shined under AD in a secondary role, he got even better. The year before free agency, I think he averaged 19.8, 9.4 rebounds or whatever, in a secondary role. He was balling out. I never lost track of Julius. For the fact that they wanted to sign Julius, I was like, as a part of the plan, that makes sense because he's a power forward that we could utilize. But when you sign that coach, who then thought that he could be the point forward, that's where things went awry, because they gave him the ball and said, because we didn't get those other guys, here you go. And that's what we have here today. A man that we then gave him $110 million, right? Who's lost and turned out, no pun, whispers, right? Because he doesn't know what to do with all this access, all of this New York management, all of this machine behind him. Now he's looking like the rolling bowling pin that he was 2 years ago. Look, for the Julius Randle fans, I've already laid out my purpose and my aim and how I thought about Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a nice player. Okay. I wouldn't lose a minute's worth of sleep if he was out of here tomorrow.
But that's not what. I get it. I get it. You're an emotional Knicks fan right now, bro. You can't. You can't.
I was on my pretty Tony shit. You got me there.
You're not processing what I'm saying. So you said what you're saying is you just went on a rant about Julius Randle's play on the floor, and I was explaining to you how we got to this point. And you didn't listen to any of that stuff.
We get there
because you're disdain for Randle.
Like how other managements have gotten there, right?
My point is,
it's always bad management. That's your overall point. It's always bad management.
No,
bad selection, bad team formation.
No, that's not the point. The point that I'm getting at is well, yeah, partly that's right? But the overall point is you can't blame Randle for how you got to this point. Because
told me the other day that management don't dribble, run, or shoot.
Right, they don't.
That's what you said.
Right, but okay. Oh, they don't dribble, pass, and shoot, right? But the year that you signed Randle, I'm gonna name the contracts of your 4 highest paid players on the roster.
Go ahead.
DeAndre Jordan, $22,897,200. All right. The second highest paid player, Enes Kanter, $18,622,514. The third highest paid player, Wesley Matthews, $18,622,513. Your fourth highest paid player, Joakim Noah, $18,530,000. Right? So when you just said Randle wasn't in the plans, and it's a lot of people that say Randle wasn't in the plans, and y'all wrong. Right? Randle was always coming to New York. He was always coming here. Steve Mills mentioned that. He said it out of his own mouth. He offered this. He said, I'm going to offer this young kid the opportunity to become something in New York. And in my opinion, I feel like he can prove it. That was said by Mills, right? And you said, well, Uncle Freezie, if Randle was in the plan, where did they all get that money from? The 4 players that I mentioned, all of them came off the books in that summer of 2019. That's how you sign. Yep, that's how you sign.
Hold on, Freezie.
The Knicks had $76 million in order to sign 3 stars.
Hold on, right? Freezie. I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect from the timeline, right? But remember, the center that we had that the Nets eventually signed to a 3-year, $45 million deal, we traded for him as a part of the Dallas package because we heard or we understood that him, KD, and Kyrie were boys. Right?
Yep.
If they wanted him in that package, he was going to be here. He was going to get his money, right? So how was you going to sign Julius Randle if you were going to give him a 3-year, $45 million deal at least?
And you said if they wanted him. If they wanted him. Right?
The Nets had to sign him just because Kyrie and them was like, yo, it's my man. My man's in them.
In your example, you're saying the Knicks would have had to sign him, right?
Not the Knicks, but the Nets had to also sign him because why? He was their man.
But your example is if KD and Kevin Durant was here, then the Knicks would have had to sign him too. That's what you're saying, right? That's what I'm clarifying. That's what I'm clarifying. So okay, all right. So you think about this. You give KD his 40, right? and you give Kyrie his 30, right? You still have money to sign Kevin Durant. I'm sorry, Jordan and Julius Randle, and sign RJ. So you still have all this money, because when you look at the books, bro, all this money is coming off the books. Your Luke Cornett, your John Jenkins, your Henry Ellison, your Kadeem Allen, your Isaiah.
They had 76 million.
Right.
You've attributed 70 million to the top two.
Right.
So the rest of them was going to split $6 million per year?
No. What I mentioned was the first 4 players, but Lance Thomas didn't return. Lance Thomas made $7 million. Mario Hezonja didn't return. He made $6 million. Ron Baker didn't return. Emmanuel Mudiay didn't return.
Okay.
Noah Vonleh didn't return. Luke Cornett didn't return.
Okay.
John Jenkins, Henry Ellison, Kadeem Allen, Billy Garrett, all those dudes, they didn't return, bro. That's $27 million right there by itself.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so the salary cap in 2019, the salary cap wasn't even an issue. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't even an issue. You know what I'm saying? In terms of who you can sign. Now, with the roster, the back end of the roster look terrible? Yes. But if you rolled out with a Kevin Durant and a Kyrie Irving and Julius Randle, the back end of the roster, you could fill that with veterans that wanted to win championships. That's just you know. And would you have gone over the cap to get Kevin Durant some support players? Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So the point I'm getting at is the Randle conundrum is only a Randle conundrum because the plan that was initiated didn't work. Right? And then so in that 2019 season, we were told that we were still going to try to push for the playoffs anyway, and we stumbled out of the gate. You remember that? You remember when Steve Mills and Scott Perry had a press conference? Like
Absolutely.
this team is better, and they will do better. And at the time, I was like, they about to fire Fizdale next week. You remember they had the impromptu press conference after that nationally televised game, and we looked like a dog, right?
When they lost by what, 40 or was it 50?
I think it was.
Was that the Boston game? I think that was the Boston game.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
But Scott Perry was so nervous at the podium. He was like, "Yo," it's the look on Scott Perry's face is like, "Yo, we shouldn't be having no press conference after a bad loss like this." But Steve Mills called the impromptu press conference.
No. James Dolan called the
impromptu. However they got there, bro. However they got there. I know.
James Dolan was sitting in the box seats. He looked down at them and was like, "Yo, y'all better get the up down there and explain why I'm being embarrassed out here on national TV."
Right.
You know, with a short-handed Boston team that's giving me the business out here. After you brought in these 9 new players, after you did not get KD and Kyrie, and go explain this real quick.
Right. And right then, you knew that David Fizdale was going to get fired. You knew it because during the game, ABC got a glimpse of what he wrote on the whiteboard as a final play of the game, and this clown wrote the word together. As soon as he wrote that, he should have just been writing his resume. He should have just been.
He should have wrote Al Green. Let's stay together.
Let's stay together or something.
That's what he said.
That's what. And so during that game, there were some things that were done that we knew that this dude was in over his head, because Brad Stevens on the other side, because Kevin Knox was playing a decent game defensively on Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum couldn't hit a shot, right? And then every time out, Brad Stevens would go to Jason Tatum and hug him and be like, "Yo, that's all right, big fella. You know, you the future. Don't worry about it. Your shot's gonna start falling, man. Just keep shooting, man. Just stay in there." And on the other side, David Fizdale was calling Kevin Knox names that if Kevin Knox would have punched him in the throat, I wouldn't even been mad. You know what I'm saying? I'd have been like, yo, because at some point you got to realize you're talking to men. You don't talk to men like that. You know what I'm saying?
You think he heard the word bum?
No, I know I heard the word MF like 14 times.
You MFing bum.
Yeah, you MFing whatever. Yeah.
You MFB.
Yeah. And
why did I draft you?
Yes.
Yep.
And
you Albie Shore, Christopher Williams, bum.
Pretty much. And so to getting back to the Randle conundrum, what happened is I personally feel like Julius Randle is the scapegoat of a lot of mistakes by organizations and coaches.
Okay, but before you continue with this Randle conundrum, right? I want you to apologize to me and rest of Knick Nation for your last season, off-season rants about how great Randle was and who you would not trade him for. Because remember this, Freezie, Uncle Freezie, you know, as Jamaicans would say, him na easy, right? I remember you and I having words on the overnight show when the name Damian Lillard would come up, right? You wouldn't trade Randle for Damian Lillard. You wouldn't trade Randle for CP3. You wouldn't trade Randle for Michael Jordan in his prime, right? I need you right here and now to backtrack that, right? In your Randle conundrum, because all in this conundrum, Randle has no fault in here. That's all I'm hearing right now. He has no fault. The man who dribble pass shoots has no fault in this. The man who signed the $110 million contract has no fault in this. So I need you right here, right now to say, you know what? I was wrong in those takes because he's not that nice.
Okay. Let me finish doing this real quick. I'm just editing some show stuff. So, all right. So the Julius Randle conundrum. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Timing is everything. Right? Timing is everything. Now, at the time that we mentioned Damian Lillard was putting up otherworldly numbers, right? But since that trade deadline, have you seen his numbers? Damian Lillard's numbers are awful, bro. And if you think Julius Randle is a conundrum now, like you're talking about empty gems, putting up stats and blah, 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 man, can you imagine getting Damian Lillard right now? Have you seen his numbers? I'm gonna put Damian
Lillard is a superstar. Julius Randle. You know, Freezie, you put out these, you tag these players, right, unfairly all the time. And you praise guys off of 1 year. You were going to war for Julius Randle 6-7 months ago. You were ready. You were at war. You were starting war. You were dropping grenades. You know, you were remembering yourself back in basic training when you was with the Marines or the Army or whatever branch or so.
Green Street grocery champ.
Yeah, when you was Green Street grocery champ, knocking out 400-pound dudes. You know, claiming that
that smell like Newports.
You know, claiming that you the curry goat, knocking out all kinds of dudes. And now, 6-7 months later, when you realize that Randle is not that nice, you refuse to backtrack and say, you know what? I was wrong. You know, there's nothing wrong with showing growth. Nothing wrong with saying I was wrong, because he was just not that nice. He just wasn't that good.
AD.
And that was my point to you then, and my point to Knick Nation for all of those that was just falling in line with Randle. Go ahead.
AD, look at Damian Lillard's numbers this season. Right? 24 points a game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, right? Those on the surface, those look like great numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at his shooting percentages. The dude, him and Julius Randle are shooting the same percentage from the floor. 40%. Him and Julius Randle are shooting the same thing from 3, 32%.
One is a guard, and one is a power forward masquerading as a guard.
Yeah.
That's what those numbers don't tell you.
Yeah, what this tells you is that Damian Lillard is washed, and if we'd have got Damian Lillard
on a down year, he's 24-7.
Nah.
On a down year, he's 24-7. In Randle's best year that we was hyping him up, he was 24, 9 and 6 in empty stadiums. He was 24, 9 and 6. And don't let me remind you and Knicks fans how he spit the bit against Atlanta.
How many championships does Damian Lillard have?
How many does Julius Randle have? You know what? Let me stop calling him Julius. Julie. How many does Julie Randle have?
Yeah, that's disrespectful, bro.
Yeah, because I'm feeling disrespectful right now.
Yeah, that's
how many does Julie have? He got his hair all knotted up and curled like a girl. Huh? He'd be ready for the WNBA right about now.
No, he ain't ready for that. Stop being disrespectful, man. It's that man like that.
I'm feeling disrespectful right now.
Who you should feel disrespectful towards is Obi Toppin. But I know you love Obi.
You know what? You always do that. You always play the deflect game. Obi Toppin.
It's not deflect. It's called calibrating. It's called get your aim right. You miss.
It's called deflecting. It's called deflecting.
No.
That's what it's called. It's called I can't say I was wrong.
Me?
Yeah, you can't say you were wrong.
I can say I was wrong.
So when did you say you was wrong about Julius Randle? About Julius Randle?
No, you feel like I'm wrong about Julius Randle. I don't feel like I'm wrong.
Nick Nation knows you're wrong. Nick Nation knows you're wrong about Julie Randle.
Nah, bro. What it is simple, right? I pointed out all these things where Julius Randle was put in a tough situation, and instead of you saying, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have promised Knicks fans that we were going to get Kevin Durant. You didn't say that.
You're making excuses for him.
No. I'm not making excuses for him. Maybe. Listen. And I'm just saying, as you and I Knicks fans, maybe us thinking that we could get Kyrie and Kevin Durant was unrealistic. How about that? How about can we concede that?
Hold on. We can't concede that. You know why we can't concede that?
Because we got him. We can't concede it because we got him, right?
No, we can't concede that because as the gorilla that's eating the banana is looking across town, less than 3 miles away, you got one part of the trifecta who wants out. You got another part of the trifecta that can only play in away games. You got another part of the trifecta who's out 8 to 10 weeks.
Right. But that's today, AD. That's today.
That's every day.
No, that's today. Every day. That's today. That's not in 2019. That's why I used the word conundrum. Because if things had gone differently in 2019, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
If you had a better management, it wouldn't be this conversation.
But that's not the point. The point is, if we signed Kyrie and we signed Kevin Durant and we got Zion in the draft, the fact that we signed Julius Randle, we wouldn't even be in it. We wouldn't have this conversation.
The only part we could not control out of that whole soliloquy, let me get in my Mike Tyson voice, in that soliloquy, right? Right, was the fact that it's the draft. Free agency was out there for everybody. Anybody with cap space could go out there and sign him, right? We cleared cap space. We traded our jewel because, as you pointed out, the owner said that he had intel, and he didn't call any names because that would be tampering. That we were going to be okay. That
he
from
said
good
Knicks
information,
fans should be getting excited right now. Knicks fans should be getting
excited right now.
Right.
Okay, that's what the owner said. So
and because that's what he was told by his people.
And who was his people?
Steve Mills
and Perry. Okay.
But AD, so listen.
Bad management.
So okay, clearly, Julius Randle did something to you personally, because you're not hearing any of the facts. What I'm saying is
outside of him having $110 million and being 6'9", he's not in my category. He's not in my league.
Well, pretty much.
You know, he's not in my league because
you better know this.
I don't walk around looking like Julie. You understand? I don't walk around looking like Julie.
This is a daily event for Julius Randle. This is natural. But anyway, what I'm getting at is this. They had a plan. The plan backfired, and instead of blaming the people that put the stupid plan together, we blaming the last man standing. That's dumb.
It's not that we blaming him in totality.
No, we're blaming him in totality, bro.
Okay, fine. So in totality, and I'll be the leader of that. I'm fine with that. Because you know why? You the guy with the biggest paycheck. So we're expecting for you to go out there and play better. Now, were you not that guy in totality? I knew this. I tried telling Knicks fans that this is not sustainable. The way how he's playing is not sustainable to win a championship. No disrespect to my man Sim, right? Coming into the season, I remember him giving Julie Randle loftier goals.
Man, that's so disrespectful, man. Come on,
because I'm feeling disrespectful. So it's so be it. Julie, you want to see me, right? Giving him loftier goals across the board. The man averaged 24.4 points last year, something like that. He was saying he's gonna go up to 26, 27.
No, he didn't. Sim didn't say that. I said that.
No. Sim said that too.
I said that.
No. But I've already dealt with you. I've already taken you to the woodshed. So you're good. So let me take him to the woodshed, right? He's gonna get 24 you know what it is to have your point average jump an additional 3 points?
Yes.
Off of one pandemic season?
No, it's not.
Are you crazy?
AD, come on, bro. Be realistic. Julius Randle averaged 24 points a game, coming off a season where he was doubled and triple teamed the third most amount of times in the NBA.
So because he got the Frenchman and a guy who suffers from Bob, in case people don't know what Bob means, bone on bone. Bob, he was going to then elevate an additional 3 points?
Or something like that. Not necessarily.
Or something like that. You should cancel your Knicks subscription for ever thinking no nonsense like that.
No,
because he got a guy who has never been in a winning situation but one season, and another man who suffers from Bob, bone on bone. He was going to elevate his scoring an additional 3 points, and everything else across the board was going to be better.
And that's why we have a Julius Randle conundrum, because you are an unrealistic Knicks fan, and you can't see past.
You gave him 3 more points. You gave him 3 more points in his scoring average, and you thought that was feasible. And I'm unrealistic.
and you can't see past Julius Randle. And you can't see past Julius Randle, bro.
Because here's part of the thing, Freezie.
You about to say Julius Randle name again, right? You about to refer to Julius Randle again, right?
Julie. He's never getting Julius ever again until the trade.
Yeah, that's
Julie,
disrespectful,
right?
Man.
One of the most beautiful things in Magic Johnson's game, as I'm growing up, I'm watching him. Look at him in his MVP years. If you can afford to throw up Julie Randle's numbers, throw up Magic Johnson's numbers in his MVP years. Barely cracking double digits in points scored. 10, 11 points. Assists, 12, 13, 14. Rebounds, 8, 9. Right? Magic once said, I could score 30 a night if I wanted to.
AD.
Hold on.
This is why this is a Julius Randle conundrum.
Hold on.
Because
part of the conundrum.
I'm just letting you know, once you finish, I'm going ISO on the screen. I'm just letting you know.
Go. You could go ISO, put on 3 different hats, get 2
and
more
I'm
glasses.
Go on some Public Enemy. Rebel without a pause.
Yeah, you can go get the S. You can go get the S1W if you want. My point is this: doing more doesn't make you better, especially if it's not team oriented. See what I'm saying? Magic was winning MVPs in doing less, but being the master general. Julie has reverted back to doing what? Jumping in the air, turnover passes. And now I'm going to let you go ISO because you feel like Julie right now. So you want to go 1-on-5. Go ahead, my brother.
Man, let me get this dude out of here, man, before he hurt himself. AD legit just said during that, listen to this. Listen to the emotional Knicks fan compare Julius Randle, the 2021-2022 Knicks to Magic Johnson's Lakers and during his MVP seasons. So first, let me remind you, the head coach of that Los Angeles Lakers team that Magic won the MVP, his name is Pat Riley. Does Julius Randle have Pat Riley on the sidelines? No. Right? The second leading scorer, the second leading scorer on that team that Anthony D mentioned, Anthony D so smooth he does not require a chaser. The second leading scorer on that team was named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And for those that don't know, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Multiple time MVP in his own right. Right? Kareem, I think, won 3 or 4 league MVPs. Right? Does Julius Randle have a 3 or 4 time league MVP on his team? Does Julius Randle have the number 1 all-time leading scorer on his team, or is anybody in the top 5? No. Magic Johnson also had a player named James Worthy on that team. James Worthy played for the University of North Carolina, who at the time was a basketball factory. Anybody in here that knows anything about the University of North Carolina basketball knows that James Worthy was an all-time great, right? James Worthy is a Hall of Famer. They also had Bob McAdoo, right? Former league MVP. They also had Michael Thompson, number 1 pick in the draft. And if the name Michael Thompson sounds familiar to you, yeah, that Michael Thompson, he married Miss Universe and had a son that plays in the NBA, right? That dude's name is Klay Thompson. Yeah, Klay Thompson's daddy played for the Lakers. You feel me? So they had a player named Michael Cooper, right? So to compare Julius Randle to Magic Johnson, they play different positions. Whatever. But AD is an emotional Knicks fan right now. And this is the reason why we have a Julius Randle conundrum, right? Because there's layers to this. There are so many layers to this that smart Knicks fans will understand that Julius Randle is playing every night with subpar point guard play. Knicks fans, would you say that you are getting elite point guard play out of the point guard position right now? Ask yourself that. Because AD put up Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson might be the greatest point guard of all time. Are the Knicks getting elite point guard play? Right? Do the Knicks have a bunch of guys playing out of position? Is this roster healthy every night? Are your best 5 players available to play every night for the Knicks? I know the emotional Knicks fans got their panties in the wad, and yes, I'm talking to you. Y'all mad because Julius Randle can't save us from ourselves, and y'all mad. And if you were smart, because there's a difference between being mad and being smart. If you were smart, you would understand that this roster is not built to contend. This is not a contending roster. So to blame one player every night makes you look like a raving lunatic. You look like a crybaby. And yes, I'm talking to you. You look like a crybaby. When Julius Randle can't. When. Julius Randle can't save you from yourselves. Think about how you sound. Let me bring my man back in. Think about a Knicks fan. Think about how y'all sound. I be reading y'all stuff in the chat. Y'all sound like lunatics. Julius Randle can't save us from ourselves when everybody knows Julius Randle is not a true number 1 or a true number 2. The reason why I mentioned the whole thing in its entirety is so that you could understand that. But instead of you understanding that Julius Randle is not Michael Jordan, you are saying Julius Randle should still be doing Michael Jordan things. Y'all are crazy. Get your life together. Y'all are saying Julius Randle, LeBron James can do such and such.
Let me give you my color purple. Let me give you my color purple finger. Let me give you my color purple finger. Oh. You're a man. You're light skinned. You're not nothing at all. You're nothing at all.
Right, and so it's me says y'all can't save Randle, and so that's the point that I'm getting at, bro. Nobody said. I'm not saying that Randle is LeBron James. What I'm saying is Julius Randle is Julius Randle. Stop acting like Julius Randle can save your franchise. He can't.
You started
Julius
this conundrum.
Randle is not Kobe.
No, you started this conundrum, and in your conundrum, you did nothing but offer him excuses, offer him participation, trophies. Glad you came. Participation trophy. You were just you're a nice boy. You know, do you know?
I'm telling you, Julius Randle is the third best player on a playoff contender.
Let me ask you a question, sir. Let me ask you a question, sir. If Julius Randle sees the life of this contract with the Knicks, he would have reaped $150 million from the Knicks.
No, he wouldn't have. No, he wouldn't have.
Yes, he would have.
No, he wouldn't have.
Hold on. It's 110. He already got 40 plus. So it'd be $150 something. So it's even more than what I said. Remember, Remember, he signed a 3-year, $63 million contract with 2 years guaranteed at 20 plus. The second deal is $110 million. That would be my math. I'm not the greatest. I'm not the mathematician. That's 150 plus if he goes the entire way. You mean to tell me you're giving a man that kind of money and you shouldn't expect some type of investment on your return?
AD,
some kind of return on your investment? Excuse me. Some kind of return on your investment?
AD, this is ridiculous.
I made the Magic Johnson reference was because Magic knew how to take he knew how to take a step back, right? Julius, in getting new teammates, he had not taken a step back to ingratiate them into the offense.
Thing is still all we doing is spinning tires, bro.
Because
you said Magic Johnson knew how to take a step back. To who? To Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
This is your conundrum. I want you to know this. This is your conundrum.
This is unreasonable thinking, bro.
No, this is your conundrum, right?
And
yet still, you have not apologized to Knicks fans on your lofty goals for this.
Let's start right here. Let's. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. You said Magic Johnson knew how to take a step back, right?
He did.
Take a step back to who? So if he took a step back and let somebody else score, who was the other person that was going to score for the Lakers during Magic Johnson MVP?
Freezie. I could remove Magic's name if I wanted to. I could use Jason Kidd. I can go any place else. You're missing the point.
And no matter who you know, bro.
So
when Jason Kidd take a step back to who? Dirk Nowitzki? Oh wow!
No, Freezie. Okay. I could go lesser if I needed to.
Let's do. How about Michael Jordan take a step back to Scottie Pippen?
No, my point is, Freezie.
If Julius Randle take a step back to who? RJ Barrett?
Hold on, Freezie. Here's what you're not seeing, Freezie. In order to get the best out of your teammates, Freezie, you have to trust them. You can't want to jump. You can't want to dominate the ball. Notice how RJ has been playing better recently when they alleviated him from all of that ball responsibility. These are some of the points that you're missing, Freezie.
Come on, bro.
You're missing some of that, Uncle Freezie.
Nah, bro.
Let's transition because you want to be wrong and strong. You want to be wrong and strong. You want to treat me like I'm old Eddie Kane. Like you can have hits without me. You can't have no hit records without me, baby.
I know that. I already know that part. I understand that part. The part that I'm talking about is this. Julius Randle. So the Randle conundrum is one where so AD. Let me clarify. This is what I'm getting at. We're a losing franchise that wants to be a winner, but we don't have any answers. So instead of searching for answers, we search for blame. That's what I'm getting at. This is not a Julius Randle validation tour. This is a thirsty franchise. Let me get in my Sylvester Stallone First Blood voice. They drew first blood. Right.
Who drew first blood? Julius Randle did. Did.
Come on.
He drew first blood.
So what you're saying is this that I'm wrong, that the Knicks are not a thirsty franchise that wants to make the playoffs, right?
No, I'm not saying that.
That we are a losing franchise again.
I'm not saying that.
That we don't have answers, and so I feel like I'm right because AD, if we had answers, guess what? We would be using them. We would be correcting some stuff.
But you can't make a conundrum and blame everybody else. But the guy, as you told me, management don't dribble, pass, or shoot.
Management don't dribble, pass, or shoot. That
right? You told me that last week, and you want to blame everybody else except for the guy who dribble, pass, and shoot.
No, no.
You're forgetting his Atlanta performance. Do you remember his Atlanta performance?
AD, come on, bro. You all over the place on that. So you just said that we should blame. They don't dribble, pass, and shoot. So you telling me we can't blame the guy that is dribble, passing, and shooting?
I'm saying we can blame the guy who dribble, pass, and shoot.
We can blame the guy that dribble, pass, and shoot, right? But what about the other 14? What are they doing?
This was a Julie Randle conundrum. You didn't say Knicks conundrum. No, you said Julie conundrum.
You just made this point. A few seconds ago. You just made this. You were like, yo, I can blame Julius Randle if I want to, right? That's the point, right? Well, how come we can't blame everybody else too? Why is this just Julius Randle? Because if it's just about money,
you didn't offer no one else up in the conundrum.
Because you just said this like 90 seconds ago.
An hour ago, you set the table, right? And you went on your Mike Tyson soliloquy, right? On Julie Randle and to why he was in this conundrum. And at no point in time, Uncle Freezie, did you attribute any blame to him? And that's been my point with you and other supporters of Randle. Last week I said the same thing to you. Who much is given, much is required. You asked me, you told me, you know what you said to me? You said to me, which definition do you want? You want the superhero definition or you want the other definition?
I said like that. Yeah. I thought I was being respectful when I asked you because I didn't want to say something dumb.
But you asked me which definition that I wanted, right? Which was semantics because it's just a word here or a word there, right? And I told you, Freezie, you the superhero, baby. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna roll with your definition, which was much is required, right? So how do you come in here today with a conundrum that doesn't hold him accountable?
AD, did you miss? Okay, all right. Clearly, I'm somewhere else in the conversation.
Let's pivot.
Because you don't get what I'm saying. The point
I get what you're saying, but I'm not gonna leave him. I'm not gonna let him escape.
My point is no one person deserves all the blame. You keep bringing up Julius Randle.
Then no one person should be in the conundrum.
It's a conundrum because we put one person there. That's why. And so I agree with you. I agree with you because
let's pivot.
All right. So let's do some. You want to get into the '94 season?
Yes. You want to get into
that a little bit?
I want to ease into it, but I want to let the Knick Nation know that it's with a lot of pain that I bring up this topic again. We're going into the 28th year of but the only reason why I came back to this, and we've touched on it a little bit here and there over the last few months or whatever, but we never really delved into it and really gave it its full weight and respect and dissected. But with the new book that came out the other day, what's it called? Blood in the Garden.
Yeah.
Right. And I wanted to read it beforehand and start some of the pieces from it. Not that I needed it to kind of launch us off, but because of the fact that this New York basketball team that can't just float away in the air and in the space, because every couple of years someone has to say something about it or bring up something about it, whether it's ESPN with Reggie Time, whether it's ESPN again with
Miller Time, whether
it's ESPN again with the 70s Knicks, talking about us as the team of the 70s. Whether it's it's all over. We haven't won a championship since '73, but no one can forget about us because of our effect on basketball. So it made me kind of like over this last week, and I even told you, I said, Freezie, get ready, because I really wanted to do this whole session on '94, but we started where we started, and we're gonna end where we're gonna end, because that's what we do in old school Knicks. We take a journey, we set the week off, right? So I want to pose this question to you, and it's not necessarily Knicks, but '94. Give me your memories from a younger, more sophisticated, fresh out the army, Green Street champ, Green Store champ, 2 times.
Yeah, undefended. Yeah.
Uncle Freezie, '94. Give me some of your best recollections in '94.
All right. So here's the thing with the '94 season. I just want to throw out a couple things so that everybody understand the setting, right? So Michael Jordan is retired, right? Michael Jordan is retired. The coach of your New York Knicks is Pat Riley. The top executive in the organization is a man named Ernie Grunfeld.
No, Dave Checkers.
Right here is listed as Ernie Grunfeld.
No, Dave Checkers is.
Okay. So I didn't know whoever was the top dog, whoever. So let's say Dave Checkers.
Ernie Grunfeld was hired out of the booth when he used to be in the booth with Marv and Butch Beard. Dave Checkers became top executive in 1990. Dave Checkers hired Riley. Yeah.
Was it 1990? It's after they fired Stu Jackson, right?
After they fired Stu, McLeod came in.
Right.
Al Bianchi was, God rest the dead, Al Bianchi was still the guy at that time. We was owned by Gulf and Western. Right. They let go. Al Bianchi let go Stu, brought in McLeod. Then into the 1991 season, after we got swept by the Bulls, right. This was about to be the second time we had new ownership. Right. Here comes in, I think was ITT Cablevision at the time.
Cablevision.
Right. Yeah. ITT Cablevision, ITT/Cablevision was about to come in. They bring in Dave Checkers. Dave Checkers then brings in, then pulls up Ernie out of the booth, and then goes on to hire Riley. Go ahead.
Yeah, because Riley and I thought Riley and Grunfeld were in the booth at the same time.
No, Riley was in the booth.
Not in the same booth, but Pat Riley had quit the Lakers, took a year off, and was on TV, and he was terrible,
horrible.
Right. So here's the thing. So we're trying to set a background for the '94 season. So the Knicks didn't have I don't remember the Knicks having a rookie that season, right? So I just want to check just to be sure.
Rookie, Greg Anthony.
No, he wasn't a rookie in '94.
Greg was a rookie.
No, he wasn't a rookie in '94, bro.
Greg was a rookie.
No, he wasn't a rookie in '94, bro.
No, you know what? You're right. He was a rookie in '93.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Because I think it was 1 year we got Hubert Davis, 1 year we got Greg Anthony in some kind of order.
You know what? Hubert came in '93 with Greg.
No, they didn't come in. No, we didn't have 2 first-round picks in the same draft.
Right. So then Hubert would have been in '94 then.
Nah.
Or he's in '93 and Greg is in '90. Greg is in '92, I think. Yeah. Right. Because yeah. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, because right here it's showing the next the rookie from '90. So 93, 94, the rookie from 92, 93 was a power forward named Eric Anderson. I don't remember him.
Eric Anderson, I remember him.
Yeah, and then
big white guy. I think he went to Indiana.
Right. Him and Hubert Davis came in together, and then the year before those two, Greg Anthony, and Greg Gerald Padillo, whoever that is.
Mm-hmm. Damn, Gerald Padillo. Wow.
Yeah, they came in. Both of those dudes, they came in from UNLV together. Both of those dudes played at UNLV together. But anyway, so here is the setting for that season, as I remember it. Your projected NBA champs were going to be a team called the Seattle Supersonics, right? And teams predicted that the NBA Finals, and this is me going off memory, not going back off of stuff that's on the internet, but the NBA Finals that year, in the Eastern Conference Finals, it was predicted to be the Orlando Magic and the New York Knicks, right? A lot of people picked Orlando to beat the Knicks because of their youth and athleticism, and they were shooting the three, right? They had all the things that countered what the Knicks could do. The Orlando Magic had a big center that could defend and give your opposing center the business, right? They also had a power forward that can bring your big, stiff power forward out of the paint and shoot jump shots in his face. I can't remember who their power forward was. I can't remember if it was Horace Grant or if it was Jeff Turner.
They didn't have Grant yet.
Okay.
Grant was still in Chicago. They didn't get him to the following year.
So it was Jeff Turner, number 31, a dude named Jeff Turner that could shoot the three and shoot jumpers, right? They had a rotation on the wing of Dennis Scott, Anthony Goldwire, Nick Anderson, and Donald Royal. And they would get out and run. They were athletic and could get out and run, right? They also had a great backup point guard who was drafted, who played for the Knicks, and he wound up being a great veteran for them, a great veteran leader, a dude named Scott Skiles, right? But they also and they also had Brooks Thompson, I think, a JJ Redick type shooter off the bench. So Orlando was stacked, and they also had a point guard named Penny Hardaway, right? The Knicks, on the other hand, had a gritty play style, Starks and Ewing. That's what the Knicks had. Because at the time, we didn't know, before the 94 season, you had no idea how good Anthony Mason was going to be. You just liked him. You know what I'm saying? You're like, hey, man, look like he can be something. It was like, it's just feeling. New York Knicks fans, tell me if you had this feeling before. Man, our young athletic backup power forward need more minutes. It's the same story we've been hearing our whole life, bro, as a Knicks fan. Our young athletic power forward need more minutes. That has always been the story for Knicks fans, bro. This is not something new, right? We wanted Anthony Bonner and Anthony Mason to get more minutes. And then for those that don't know who Anthony Bonner is, either you young as hell or you should be ashamed of yourself, right? AD, 93, we were coming off a year where we felt like we got robbed in several playoff games against several teams, right? 93, we knew we were not going to. 93, I think, was the year we probably could have played the Phoenix Suns or Seattle in the finals. But things didn't work out. Things never work out for the Knicks.
Correct.
94, in my opinion, And in my opinion, 94 was not the year that we had the best team. 94 is the year that we just happened to put it all together. Because I think the 96 team was a great team. The 92 team, in my opinion, was probably the best team, the 91, 92 team.
All right. 94 for me represents the entire 90s, or whether before or after, and not just in basketball terms, just in life. Because the 90s, for the younger generation, the 90s and not just the tri-state, but just in general, the 90s just felt good. You know, it just was, you had like 3 monumental albums came out in late 93 to 94. Wu-Tang, Notorious B.I.G.'s album, and another one is skipping me right now. But
if you don't say this album, AD, I'll cut this show off right now.
I know you're talking about, but it's skipping me in name right now.
How about Nas Illmatic?
Nas Illmatic is before that. Nas Illmatic is before.
Nas Illmatic is spring of 94.
Okay.
And the year before that, Midnight Marauders, A Tribe Called Quest.
Midnight Marauders. I mean, so that's what I mean. The 90s.
New York was in the center of
not just New York, but just around the country. I mean, you got
Dr. Dre had the Chronic come out. Remember the Chronic?
Yeah, you got the G-Funk era that was about to that just took off.
Yeah.
You know, God rest the dead, Tupac Shakur was still here.
Yeah.
Big was still here. You know, Big L was still here.
Yeah.
It was a lot of, dance hall was at his.
The prime female R&B groups. Escape had just come out.
I mean,
had come out. SWV had come out.
I'm watching SWV documentary last night. That's my group of the 90s right there. Not TLC, not Total.
TLC
no
was out
disrespect to those. SWV was my group.
Yep.
Right?
Mary J. Blige had just come out.
Mary J. Blige is about to go Zenith. You know what I'm saying? So there was just so many. Boys to Men was you know what I'm saying? Rocket launching. You know what I mean? There was just so many good things about the 90s, and we were just young. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you wasn't at the barbecue or the cookout or whatever, you wasn't nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the summertime.
Yeah. And
coming into that in the tri-state, the Rangers. You know, there's a documentary called Spring '94 on MSG, which talks about the Rangers and the Knicks, and '94, the OJ case.
Yeah,
it was just so much in that '94, in particularly, had to offer or was about. It was just so many. Fashion was different. I mean, we wearing cross colors.
And this MC from Brooklyn, female, had this song come out called Roughneck, and I remember dudes playing it. Dudes playing it. It was like Knicks jersey, that song Roughneck playing. You Pat Ewing jersey, John Starks jersey. Got a who? Got a what? Got a Roughneck. Got to get a rough. Yeah, that was
Because we were rough riders. You know what I mean?
Right.
And in leading into this topic, since last night, since after we got off that other forum, I put on 94 Game 6.
Right.
And it's hard for me I got like ADHD when it comes to that series and those games, because when you know the outcome and you're thinking that it's going to be different and you critiquing.
Yeah.
And you're trying to go a different way and stuff, and you know where it's going, but your heart and mind, you're thinking it's gonna go someplace else, and it's so hard.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So the 90s and 94 in particular has great memories and the worst memories. I was like, I gotta stop saying shorty. My cousin said to me, when you gonna stop using the term shorty?
Yeah.
But my shorty at the time, you know what I mean? My shorty at the time was like, oh my God, she was like, Lord have mercy. Shout out to Sharon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sharon. She deserved a name recognition because she was just that bad at that time. Absolutely. And I was like, you ever seen that movie Hitch with Will Smith?
Yep.
And there's a part where he was like a nerd in college and whatever. I wasn't that bad, but I didn't collect that person yet. And she was like that girl.
Right.
That she had the latest in everything, dress, style, whatever. And I remember she saw me one day. I came to her house and I just got my first whip. And I'm dating whip. We're using words like whip.
Wow.
I just got my first whip, Freezie. And I rolled to her house and she went, "What are you wearing?" She went, "What are you wearing?" Right. I'm like, "Are we going? Man, are we going somewhere, baby? Are we? I'm still trying. I'm like, are we going somewhere?"
Right.
Like, no, but what are you wearing? I'm like, I'm wearing Adidas.
Yep.
Some Adidas. I think I'm matching. I'm coordinating. Like, well, if this is gonna go any further, you're gonna have to like do better.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because she was just that person at that time. And like I said, shout out to Sharon. She's still that person at that time. But it was just it had all those. We used to have the best cookouts, my family. Like my family cookouts, oh my God. Like, woo, Memorial Day, especially 4th of July or Labor Day, those 3 occasions right there.
Right.
If you roll through, it was about to be happening. You know what I'm saying? Especially 4th of July. It's about to be happening. So those memories in 94 and just watching those games with my brother, because our rooms were like maybe like 20 feet apart. Right. So simultaneously, we would meet in chest bump. Bang!
Bang, yeah.
Like Ewing and Oakley. Bang! Yeah. Right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We just knew certain play, whatever would have happened, we were walking, bang! Yeah. And if the Knicks didn't win, you can tell when the Knicks won or lost in my household. How? You go in the refrigerator. If the Knicks won, all the food was gone.
Right.
If the Knicks lost and they had it was a rarity that they had a 3, let alone a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah.
You go in the refrigerator and food would be piled up.
Yeah.
It was like we was on diets. Food was piled up. No breakfast, no lunch. No, because my mom was a chef, so my mom's, she cooking Sunday morning, Saturday morning, she cooking every day of the week, whatever. So you go in and you come to my house and you give me like, you want shrimp? Okay, here's shrimp. You can have that. Fish? Is that you want oxtail? Yeah, you can have that. You know what I mean? You can have any one of those things. So that's what the 90s represent to me. A multitude of family and social engagements wrapped around New York Knicks and just what they were to us, and to me in particularly, in my my family, my brother, right? My cousin Vic, my brother Mark, you know what I'm saying, my nephew Marv, you know what I mean, because we grow them in my family, you know what I'm saying. Right. You ain't gonna be no Brooklyn Nets fan, you know what I'm saying.
No.
This is what you raised in this. And for those, and you know who I'm talking about, for those traders that have the nerve to put on that black and that multicolored nonsense, whatever the hell that is that
Whatever
they
it
wear.
is, that man, what?
Whatever the hell is it that they wear. You know what I'm saying? And I saw them last week at the poker game. I gave you my back then. I'll give you my back now. You gets no love.
No love.
I love you. I love you, but you gets no love.
Right.
Right? So game 6, watching it, and it just finished right before we got on. And it's just, oh my God. Let's go to the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's start with the good. Let's start with the good.
Hold on, wait a minute. All right.
It's 94 for all the reasons that I just mentioned. You know, my first car is in 94. No, my second car is in 94. But my second car was had the sunroof, metallic blue square box Maxima. Right?
And so I played a song that was not from 94, right? But I don't know if y'all remember a joint called Boomin' System.
Ooh, that's LL, baby.
And LL said, sunroof open so I can feel the wind blow. I don't give a damn if it cracks the back window.
If it cracks the back window.
And so I'm looking like, oh my God, this dude is speaking to, and there's another song that came around the same time as Boomin' System called Summertime with Jazzy Jeff and DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Right.
Talking about teen spirit. So what AD talking about is teen spirit. And now it don't mean that you were a teenager. What I'm saying is it's that vibe of being young and being free, you know what I'm saying, and enjoying the moments, you know what I'm saying, where you can legit like remember where you were when you heard a certain song, or you met a certain lady, or you got your first call, or a certain experience. You know, we call it teen spirit because I think in general we call it teen spirit because there is no other way to encapsulate the total feeling of who you were as a person, the entire environment, like what your team was doing, what songs were on the radio, what the fashion of the day was. You know what I'm saying? It's all of that is what people call the team spirit. Like in 94. In 94, I ain't gonna lie to you. 94, I used to drive a lemon, but I was cool though. Trust me. Trust me. I'm gonna be. And I used to play these two songs. One of them was called Flojo by a dude named Fat Joe.
Right.
And the other one was a song called Slam by Onyx. I remember coming out of the back with my gloves on and bouncing, and all my boys were like, and they would do the introduction. They'd be like, weighing in at 199.7 pounds, Uncle Freezie, and all my homeboys would take their hats and just throw them up in the air. And my homeboy had a boom box, and he would play Slam. He'd hit the button, boom, doom, 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 da, 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 da. And all my boys, it's like 20 of us, they would just go crazy. And the crowd, not knowing who I was, they felt the vibe, so they would go crazy too. So it'd be like 70 or 80 people just going crazy for Uncle Freezie, and only to be honest with you, only 10 of them was my homeboys, and then about 10 of them just hung around with us. Right. But when Onyx came, when Slam came on, they would just lose their mind, and the chicks would see it. AD and the ladies would see it, bro, and they'd be like, "Who is Uncle Freezie? Who is Uncle Freezie?" And my homeboys knowing if they puffed up Uncle Freezie, that they could get in on the action too. They're like, "Yo, Uncle Freezie, the champ! Look at Uncle Freezie. He got a baldy. Look, he rocking a baldy." And so and we were so young. But anyway, to your point, I get what you're saying. but all of that is team spirit, just basically to
team
the point.
Spirit. My two songs that would every spring, and you're gonna love the first one, right? Summer Madness, Kool and the Gang.
Kool and the Gang, yeah.
For those of you who've never heard that record, I implore you to listen to the extended version.
Yep.
Of Summer Madness. And if you remember Kool and the Gang for records like,
Joanna, Celebration.
Joanna, It's Too Hot.
Yeah.
Celebrate. Kool and the Gang, Summer Madness, as it's about to go from winter to spring and from spring into summer. When you feeling like, let me go take a drive. Yeah. And you put that on, right? And Lovely Day.
Yeah.
Bill Withers, God rest the dead, Bill Withers. When you throw those on, and it's gonna set the mood for you when you get into because you remember back, I don't know how it is now for young cats right now, but you had a certain set of records that you played in your house and a certain set of songs that you played in the car.
Yeah.
Right? When your lady got in the car, you're gonna play, and you may have a lady, because I had a woman whatever that liked that rough. You know what I'm saying? They like the SWBs and stuff like that too, whatever. But they want to hear Onyx. They want to hear whatever. But at a certain part of time during the ride, you got to take it. You got to take it somewhere. You got to play ladies-friendly records, ladies-friendly songs.
You got to play. You got to play your Queen Latifah.
Absolutely.
Just another day. Living in the hood.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're gonna play some of those. Absolutely. Some of those softies. So that's what 94 overall represents to me. And like I said, it was great days, but it was also the worst days. Let's go to the bad.
Oh, geez. Let's go to the bad. Where's the bad? Hold on. Bear with me for just a second.
The bad is running into an MF by the name of Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
And we've touched on him a little bit before, a couple months back. But as I'm watching him earlier today, and just how great he was as a ball player. Because that NBA Finals was done by a two-man team by Marv Albert and Matt Guokas.
Yeah, you remember Matty Guokas?
Matty Guokas, right? Matty Guokas was also the coach of Orlando.
In the early years, yeah.
In the early years, I think he was their first coach.
Yeah.
If memory serves me correctly. Matty Guokas says, on air that Hakeem Olajuwon was the best player in basketball. Right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about 28 years later, it still jarred me a little bit. But when he said it today, or when I heard it today, I should say, every knee shall bow, every tongue will tell. At that time, he just was the best player in basketball who was playing, because Mike was not playing.
Mike wasn't playing.
And that was no slight on Ewing. Because at the time, I thought it was a slight against Ewing. Right? Because he just could do things. The man could spin away from you, and he would float 3 to 5 feet in the air to get away the Hakeem shake. Because he would give you the shake, and then he would kind of drift away, and he wasn't 7 feet tall, although he was listed at 7 feet tall. He was not 7 feet tall.
No, he was not.
And it wasn't even him offensively, although he was dominant offensively, but defensively. As I'm watching Game 6, and Ewing has offensively a decent Game 6, not efficient.
Decent game.
Decent game 6. Again, not efficient. Because by the mid-third quarter, he was 5 for 16. That's not efficient. No. But he had went to the free throw line a bunch of times, and it was at a standoff. I think he had like, by mid-third quarter, I think Ewing had like 12 rebounds, maybe 14 points, 6 blocks, because he was averaging like 8 blocks a game. He was everywhere. Yeah. He was blocking everything from both sides of the court, everywhere. You could not get Maxwell, Ellie, Kenny Smith. You could not get anything in there because he was covering both sides of the court. So defensively, he was rock solid. But offensively, Elijah Wan made him second guess himself. And he kept drifting further and further away. Yeah. And he hit a couple of jumpers in that game, like I said, and he went to the free throw. Because up until game 6, he had only went to the free throw line 11 times. And I didn't remember that until watching it earlier today, late last night, earlier today. Right. And although he's physically stronger than Elijah Wan in his craftiness and his efficiency and just who he was defensively, he made you second guess your first move. Right. So by the time you went to your second move, his first defensive response would counter your second move. And as I'm watching Ewing, I'm like, this is the problem here. You're second guessing a lot of what you wanted to do, because for most of the time, and even when Ewing got hot a couple of times, they then threw the double team on him. And this is game 6. I'm not talking about Ewing's best game in the series is game 5. Game 5, 30, I think 30, 13, and 8. He almost has a triple-double. Right. In game 5. Dominated. Elijah Wan dominated that game, culminated by the left-handed putback. Right? Okay. And the OJ, chase is going on.
Rangers in the finals.
Right. So
in golf, what's my man's name? I forget his name.
Lundgren?
No, in golf, the Golden Bear. The Golden Bear was about to win a championship.
Jack Nicklaus. Jack
Nicklaus, yeah, and some young pimple-faced black kid had just enrolled into Stanford. Some kid prodigy that nobody really knew about had just enrolled into Stanford University to play golf. A dude named Tiger Woods.
The Cabo agent.
Yeah. A dude named Tiger Woods was about to start going to Stanford. It was a bunch of stuff going on in '94.
There was so many things, and what hurts is for the tri-state area was that the Rangers did it and the Knicks fell short. And we're gonna go through the whole, because I have a whole agenda and a whole list of things that I want with the tying in, not just tying with the book, but just overall for fans to understand that, or to remember, not to understand, but to remember that although we didn't win that title at that, in '94, we left a mark on the NBA that still felt today, because that book came out 2 weeks ago, already a bestseller. Yeah. Already a bestseller.
Yeah.
And for those, and it harkens me back to a conversation that we had on one of our morning shows a couple of months back, maybe right before Christmas. And I think it was me and Nick Gay going at it. And when I put it to him, and I was like, you was ashamed of being a Knick fan, and there was never a day I've ever been ashamed of being a Knick fan, because I know the totality of who we are globally.
Right.
You see, because we still come back around. Who won the finals last year? Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Any books about Milwaukee? Yeah.
No, no, Milwaukee.
Any documentaries about Milwaukee? Milwaukee has 2 and 3 of the top 100 players. That's Greek, Abdul-Jabbar, Sidney Moncrief, right?
Oscar Robertson, hello. Oscar Robertson.
Robertson, not one of the greatest ball players.
Yeah.
But also Jesus Shuttlesworth. Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Right.
So 4, Big Dog Robinson. You know, they've had of the top 200 ball players who've ever played this game, they've had at least 4 of them.
Right.
Who's ever going to talk about Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect. That's no disrespect to them, right? But ain't nobody writing no books about them outside of that area. Nobody care outside of that area. Greek Freak has one of the greatest games, and me and my uncle was talking about this earlier. Finals elimination, Game 6. Who has talked about it since then?
Nobody.
But yet still, some old-time beat reporter who hasn't been on a beat in 8-9 years writes Blood in the Garden. The title alone, Blood in the Garden. And he doesn't get anything from the people who are on the cover, which is Riley, Ewing, Starks, Mason, Oakley. He has nothing from those 5 individuals.
Okay.
Not from them, from other people he has about them, but the people who are on the cover, he has nothing from them. Mason, dead. Oakley, writing a book next month. Riley, no thanks. Ewing, no thanks. Starks, no thanks. I work for the Garden.
Right. AD, I feel you. I want to touch on one thing while we're at this touch point right here. I'm gonna say this, and I know how you feel about this already, but I think when I say this is going to be worse than the Randle conundrum.
Oh, God.
All those dudes that you just mentioned, Starks, Oakley, Pat, all the guys from that era, I feel like they should have their numbers retired.
Absolutely.
And so here's why. Here's why. The Knicks can't do their number retirement situation like other teams have done it. Right? Like, I'll give you an example. Did you know the Miami Heat retired Michael Jordan's number?
What?
Michael Jordan never played a minute for the Miami Heat, and they retired Michael Jordan's number. Right? When you look up in whatever what's their name now? Sippy Cup Arena, wherever they play at. 23 is retired. In my opinion, 30 should be retired as a Knick.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
3 should be retired, and 34 should be retired with strong consideration for number 7 being retired. Strong consideration for 7, right?
Strong, but not likely. Strong, but not likely or probably. Yeah.
Right. We should let some years go by before we reassess the Melo years. Because when you look at advanced analytics during Carmelo Anthony's tenure as a Knick, he was the best player in the NBA when you look at advanced analytics. Not just one season or 2 seasons, but if you look at all the seasons of all the best players during that time, Carmelo Anthony is either 1, 2, or 3 in every major statistical advanced category.
Here's where we differ, though, Freezie. And I've never been an analytics guy. Ever. I don't see the game through numbers. And maybe that's a part of my, my shortcomings. I see the game through these eyes, through these 2020. I'm still rocking 2020. All these years, I'm still rocking 2020. You have to drag your team to places they've never been, even shorthanded. You see?
That's unreasonable, but okay.
You can't. Your lasting memory can't be stopped by Roy Hibbert in this uniform. And when I argue Melo, because I'm a Melo fan.
You're talking about 93, the 2013-14 season, right?
Absolutely. I'm a Melo fan. And when I argue Melo, and I know we're veering from 94 right now, and like I said earlier, we're gonna do more on 94 as these next couple of weeks go on, because it deserves a lot more. But since we veered, we're veering. You can't have your lasting legacy be Phil Jackson running you out of town and Roy Hibbert stopping you at the rim. Sometimes you have to do more with less.
Hey, can I point out the more than with less then?
Absolutely.
All right, here is that roster. Just bear with me, right?
That was a good roster. That was a good roster.
So check out the roster. Cole Aldridge, Carmelo Anthony, Andrea Bangiani, Shannon Brown, Tyson Chandler, Earl Clark.
Go 1 year after that, because Bayani wasn't there in that.
You said 2013-14. You said 2013-14.
The
so
team
you mean 2012-2013.
Right. The team that loses to the Pacers, Bayani wasn't on that team.
Right. So you're talking about 2012-2013.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
The year before.
Right. I'm gonna pull them up because
don't ever mention Bayani in the Knicks uniform ever again.
Right. So here we go. 2012, 2013. Right. Carmelo Anthony, Earl Barron, Ronnie Brewer, Marcus Camby, Tyson Chandler, Chris Copeland, Ray Felton, Solomon Jones, Jason Kidd, Kenya Martin, Steve Novak, Pablo Prigioni, Quentin Richardson, Haman Shumpert, J.R. Smith, Amari Stoudemire, Kurt Thomas, Rasheed Wallace, and James Flight White.
Yes.
That team, if you tell me that Melo didn't do more with less, then I disagree with you.
That team, remember something, Freezie. Remember something. Scratch the muscle-bound hero from the Isaiah days, because he only came in on a 10-day contract. Scratch Marcus Camby because he didn't play almost the entire season.
Yep.
Scratch Rasheed Wallace because Rasheed Wallace set the pace
and came in and got hurt.
But he set the pace because to this day, Melo still does this. We were doing 3 to the head. But he set the pace. We can scratch him. The main core of that team won its last 14 games, right? Going into the playoffs, they were the 2nd seed. They beat Boston. They had to they should have swept them. They didn't. I'm not even gonna go there. They get to Indiana, and game 1, Woody decides to change the lineup of success, which was a 3-guard lineup of Prigioni, Uncle Ray, and J.R. Smith, and with Kidd, and so forth and so forth. He decides to take out one of the guards and start Kenyon Martin to match.
Begged him to start though. Kenyon Martin begged him to start though. Remember that?
I don't give a damn if he had naked pictures of his daughter. Right? Kenyon Martin was an afterthought that came in during the season. he shouldn't have influenced you because that's not what got you there. That's not what got you on that 14-game winning streak. We actually, like last year's Knicks team, we peaked too early. We won 14 straight games. We're second seed. Indiana was not that good, but we played to their strong suit. In starting Kenyon Martin, we lost our flexibility, we lost our fluidity, we lost Prigioni and those guys like that, and it set us off onto the wrong foot that we could not recover from. And to that point, I will never forgive Woody for that. I didn't want them to bring him back when they brought him back because it was a chance to do something that no one had done since Riley or Van Gundy, was to get to the conference finals. I'm not saying we'd have beat Miami, but that team deserved the right to play against that Miami team that year because we were better than everyone else.
Right.
And he dumbed us down because Kenyon Martin was begging and pleading to come in and play whatever instead of playing in the bit role that you had as a vet.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. All right. I'm frustrated that, and listen, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think Melo took the most flawed team you ever saw in your life. More flawed than when I compare last year's Julius Randle's team to anybody that I've ever seen, and not just Knicks related. I'm talking about just in general, a one-man show, so to speak. Last year, when you look at the starters for the Knicks, we started Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock, bro. We started Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, and Nerlens Noel and took that mess to the playoffs. Now, to your point, though, with Carmelo, that Carmelo year, you said that you probably have to do more with less in order to get your number retired. I think that Knicks tape team that season was full of Carmelo Anthony nailing big shots the entire season. Because I don't remember any stretch during that season where the second or third best player took over for a week or two and carried the load. When I look back at that team, I look back at it. It was all Melo dragging dead bodies to the playoffs.
J.R. Smith had moments. Jason Kidd. Remember, Melo always played better when he had good point guard leadership. Yeah. That team had 3 point guards. That team had Prigioni, Uncle Ray, Jason Kidd.
Yep.
If nothing else, Melo didn't have to worry about what Julius does now, which he used to do under D. Antoni, which is bringing up the ball and getting the team in order and whatever. He had to worry about that.
Right.
All Melo had to worry about was, do I want to play power forward or do I want to play small forward? Which, to Woody's credit, Woody was able to get him to play power forward because it was a mismatch that worked in our favor that Melo never saw.
And it could get Chris Copeland on the floor.
And they could get Chris Copeland on the floor.
Yep.
Melo literally got Chris Copeland paid from Indiana the following year.
Yep.
Because all Copeland could do, right?
Was
Copeland was a spot up shooter. Copeland and my man, discount double check. Yep. All they could do
was spot up and shoot.
Shoot threes.
Yeah.
Right? Melo literally got those guys paid, especially Copeland. He got him what Copeland got a 3-year deal from Indiana for $9 million.
Yeah, he got him paid. No, it was more than Copeland got bread because remember the Knicks wanted to re-sign Copeland.
Yeah.
So they was like, we ain't re-signing you for that.
Not for that. Not for that.
Yeah.
But they found out that he could shoot because why? Because of all the focus to Melo. All I'm saying was sometimes as the best player, you gotta drag your guys even further than you
So
should.
Melo, you don't think Melo drug that team, bro?
No, I don't think Melo gets his number.
Who was the second and third best player consistently on that team every night?
J.R. Smith was.
Hey,
and J.R. Smith showed up for LeBron in Game 7 against Golden State.
Yeah, I feel like okay, so but that's a different team. What I'm saying is this is if J.R. Smith is your second or third best player every night, then I like the Carmelo Anthony getting his number because J.R. Smith was no.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, for night in night out, especially doing the dirty work. And shout out to I know my cousin is watching, and he hates I'm about to mention this. Tyson Chandler was probably his best player night in night out as the second man. But in that series against Indiana, Roy Hibbert outdid him. Whether he had the flu, whether he had pneumonia, or whatever it was, he showed up on the court, and Roy Hibbert outplayed him.
Tyson Chandler shouldn't even been there, and you know that.
But he showed up.
Tyson Chandler.
He put the uniform. Freezie. He put the Freezie. When you Freezie. I've been a guy like this in my career and work. If I'm not going to work, I'm not going to work. I'm not gonna show up at 3 o'clock. I'm not gonna show up at 3 o'clock when we punching out at 5. I'm not going to work.
You're unreasonable, bro.
I'm just not going to work.
AD,
if I can't make it, I can't make it.
And so here's the thing, because what you said is completely unreasonable. Because if Tyson Chandler did not show up, you know what the conversation would have been, right? He has no heart. We needed him, and he wasn't there when we needed him. You know what I'm saying? That's always the conversation, bro.
But you can have it both ways.
You can't win. You can't
have it both ways.
Bro, that's what I'm telling you. You can't. I'm telling you that you can't have it both ways. Because if that man had sat out and not played, you may have been like, man, that man has no heart. He disappeared when we needed him.
Yeah, but he did not play well. Okay, fine. I'll take that. But he did not play well. He did not. Roy Hibbert outplayed him.
That man had been hurt for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks. He missed games. When he missed certain games and cats were killing him. Like, why are you not playing?
Okay.
And mind you, he was a defensive player of the year.
Continue. And I'm gonna stunt your growth.
We gotta wrap up right here, man. We had 2
Hold
hours.
on, but before we wrap, before we wrap, I'm gonna go back to where we're gonna leave off. Who gave a damn that John Starks had a debilitating injury to his right knee going into the '94 playoffs?
Unreasonable Knicks fans don't care.
Who cared?
They don't care. And
right?
That's why
Did John not show up until Game 7?
Until his knee gave out on him. That's it. And so, but here's the thing: the Knicks fans that criticize Starks for missing those shots, right, would have been the same ones that would have been blaming Starks when we got knocked out in the second round by Atlanta. Where is Starks? He was an all-star, and when we needed him the most, he didn't show up. And when the Houston Rockets or whoever would have beat Indiana, say Indiana or Atlanta, whoever, they'd have beat them. Y'all would have been like, "Yo, that's our championship. That's the great what if." No, it's not the great what if, bro. Knicks fans have to stop being unreasonable, and it's the reason why superstars don't want to come here and play.
And so, look.
All right, let's get out of here, man. It's been 2 hours. Thank y'all, everybody.
Before we get out, let me say this. Let me give my final address. Knicks fans, once again, you took a ride with us on the journey, on the Realest Morning Show. that sets off the week. Myself.
Are we trying to get another show coming up after this, man? I got to do production work for them before we.
My main man, Uncle Freezie, the apologist, the conundrum. Please tune in next Sunday, 11 a.m. as we continue this journey, this ride, and we're gonna pick up on 94. You see what I'm saying? Uncle Freezie, it's always a pleasure, my brother. You already know what it is. Knicks family for life.
All right, y'all. Peace, y'all.